of rainwater support for 𝗣𝗿 for very long time. You can also consult them for any of the consultancy for your apartment complexes. Now we have an case study of apartments by 𝗕𝗿𝗃𝗃𝗃, Mr. 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 is an BWSSB trained and certified rainwater harvesting professional over a 16 years of experience. He is also an founder and director of Mira Rainwater Harvesting Projects and Private Limited. He has widespread of his projects are over 200 apartment complexes. Few of them are from Sobha, Prestige and Brigade. He also has an very strong projects in 𝗕𝗿𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗿 𝗕𝗫𝗃𝗃, and also he has very few featured press conference of the projects like the Green and the Simpsons. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
I am 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Yeah. Namaste to everyone. I am 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Before I begin this presentation, let me just begin with my own case study. As a youngster, when I was a school-going kid, I come from a drought-prone region called 𝗕𝗿𝗃 𝗵𝗿 and 𝗕𝗏𝗃, one of the case studies mentioned by Navneet sir here. So we have a very less rainfall. This is the third driest region in India. So we always were touched and pained by the farmers' suicide cases. Yes. Okay. And I also used to feel very bad when my parents used to struggle to arrange water for us. So one day when it was raining, when all my family members were out for some wedding or some event, I started collecting rainwater from the pipes, from the rainwater pipes, and started filling in the sump. Initially, it was met with a lot of resistance. My parents obstructed me, and when I tried to do that thing by collecting my house rainwater and pouring it in the nearby open well, community open well, the neighbors called me lunatic. They objected me from doing so. But I did not give up. And one day when my parents had gone for a longer period of time, I filled my entire 8,000 liters sump. And the next day, all my neighbors were in a long queue somewhere paying money to buy water. We were the only family in that neighborhood that did not buy water for weeks. Seeing this, my father felt there is value in what I did. So what he did is he bought a hose pipe and connected to multiple drain pipes from my house, and he connected to two different sumps. From then on, I started learning more and more about rainwater harvesting, and I wanted to help my farmer brethren. So, but my parents had different aspirations from me. They wanted me to be a software engineer, which was the craze during those times. For fulfilling their dreams, I became a subject matter expert and worked with the Aditya Birla Minax for 4 years, but that was never my choice of field. I always wanted to be involved with part of the solution, water conservation. So in the year 2010, I joined one water conservationist from Bangalore named Mr. 𝗕𝗿𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, who was the founder director of Water Literacy Foundation. So from 2010, I worked with him for 2008 and did a lot of rainwater harvesting projects. And from 2008-09, I started my own firm called Mira RWH Projects. So with this, my house own case study, let me begin the presentation, sir. I again welcome you all to my presentation, and I proudly call you all water warriors because you want to be part of the solution. So what I learned in last 16 years is the problem we are facing is because of the water illiteracy and myths that is obstructing the people from taking the right decision. So these are the same questions that I've been getting from every other apartment, every other household I reach. They all come up with the same questions, and I believe you will also ask me the same questions, and I'll try my best to give as much satisfactory and logical answers as possible. Okay. The first myth is water scarcity. So you may all think my grandfather had water problem, my father had water problem, we also have the same problem. No. What they had is water accessibility problem. We had abundant water some time back, 30-40 years back. So that was accessibility problem. So we did not have tanker facility those times, we did not have boreholes those times, and we did not have a powered connection. So when there used to be a sign, only 2 to 3 water availability. We could not get water because half of the queue used to be left with dry. Now what we are having is actually the water scarcity. Now if I call a tanker guy is ready to come, but there is no water. Pipe connection is there from Kaveri, but there is not enough to meet half of Bangalore's water requirement. And then if I switch on, water can pump as high as 27 floor, 30 floor building, but there is no water, sir. So what we are facing is actually the water scarcity, not the water accessibility, sir. You're getting my point, sir? Yes. Then there is another myth saying that there is enough water, we don't have to do rainwater harvesting now. We have our borewells full of water, we get 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗏 water, we have n number of tankers, we don't want to do any rainwater harvesting. But the problem here is, we are only having 1% of the water. So if this is the entire water on earth, only this 1% is the fresh accessible water. Out of that, 0.67 is groundwater, which means there is more water under the ground than what is there in the rivers and ponds and other water bodies. And imagine, sir, in last 40 years, so 44 years, borewells were introduced to Karnataka in 1983. So from last 43 years, we have exhausted so much water that we have to wait for that particular rainy season to replenish our borewells. And half of Bangalore is running on borewells. So, and Kaveri is not able to even meet the complete demand of the people where they are already supplying water to. So in this case, what is the next solution? Many people think, okay, no problem, if there is not enough Kaveri water, if there is not enough water, we will drill our borewells deeper, we will drill more borewells. So this is taking us to another problem, sir. That another problem is something like what is shown in this newspaper article. This says there is a village in Kolar where the village population itself is 500, whereas, 700, whereas there are 500 borewells in the tiny village, sir. Okay. And this is the case of Bangalore, where average depth is close to 1,000 feet. Okay. Okay. Let me just wait for a video, sir. If it doesn't play, no problem. No problem, it's not playing. So what is the solution, sir? So then they say, the experts like 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗏 and we say, sir, please adopt rainwater harvesting. That should be our way of life. But then again, they pose me with another question saying that, another myth, Praveen, there are not enough rains, so we do not do rainwater harvesting. They say there is only rains from June to September or max to max October. No, that's not the case, especially with Bangalore, sir. In Bangalore, rains start from March 15th onwards. You can just start noticing it, sir. From March 15th onwards, it starts raining. And only during October time, it will be little less rainfall. Again, November, if not November, December, there will be cyclonic rain. That is equivalent to 1 month's rainfall, which is 100 mm rainfall. It's a big rainfall, sir. It is as high as what we get in September and October, sir. So September and August. So that's not true. And also, India is one of the rainiest places on earth, sir. We get 1,000 mm rainfall. This is what the case is. So India is one of the rainiest places, whereas Israel, which is a dry area, which is a desert area, it has become so much self-sufficient, they supply water to the neighboring countries. So it is a mismanagement issue, sir, not actually the scarcity. And when it comes to Bangalore, I vividly remember that I came to this field in the year 2010. In the first year, we had very good rains when I started working in the water conservation field. Second year, we had very good rains, 12. Only in the year 2013, we had about 750 to 800 mm rainfall, which is 200 plus mm less rainfall. But after that, it has always been raining 1200 mm rainfall, sir. So Bangalore average rainfall is increasing. So we are getting more rainfall than the average, sir. So it's not true that we are not getting enough rains. We are getting more than enough rainfall, sir. What is deceiving people here is they are counting numbers. They are not counting the volume. So in one of the display board here, sir, it says Bangalore gets about 60 good rainfalls. That was the case about 1 or 2 decades ago. Now what's happening is the same 60 numbers are maybe 5 or 10 rainfalls less or more. What's happening is today it rains. Then there is a dry period of 10 to 15 days or maybe a 1 month. Suddenly on next rain, it will be a 1 month rainfall condensed in small 1 or 2 hours like this. You can see in Bengaluru in the year 2016, in 15-20 minutes we received 1 month rainfall, sir. So numbers may have shrunk, but volume of rainfall that is there is still the same. It has not changed, sir. We are still getting 1000 plus mm rainfall. It may be in 10 rains or it may be distributed in 60 plus rains. So volume always remains the same, sir. We should be ready with the structures. So nature is doing its job, but we should be ready with the right infrastructure. But when we say do rainwater harvesting, this is one of the most frequently asked questions, like how 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗏 answered a few of the case studies here. Rainwater is contaminated. Okay. Can you guess what this could be, sir? Yes, leaves. Now actually this is Mylesandra behind RV Engineering College, Mysore Road. This is 𝗪𝘁𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏 river, sir. This is a tributary to our Kaveri water. Like this, there are almost all rivulets that are joining the Kaveri river. They are all the same, sir, literally. Mysore waste, Kushalnagar waste, Srirangpatna waste, everything is ending up in Kaveri. If we are treating that water and consuming it, why not consume our own roof rainwater, which hardly has dust, and here and there some bird droppings that can be easily treated with the kitchen RO, UV, aqua guards, or while cooking. Cooking is boiling. Boiling will kill the pathogen, sir. Or in apartment cases, I'm sure all apartments have, almost all apartments have water treatment plant. The very function of WTP is to make it disinfected, water, safe water for consumption, sir. And here I would like to show this water quality report, sir. This is taken by the Central Pollution Control Board, a body that sits above the KSPCB, sir. So they tested in the year 2018. So they tested Kaveri water at the source, sir. So in one of the sources of the river Arkavati near the Sangamra, the fecal coliform was 1000 CPO or MPN per 100 ml, sir. And at river itself, sir, Kaveri near the Sangamra, it's another 1000. Whereas you will be surprised if I show you the STP water quality report, sir. So this is what I found in one of the hotels in Yelahanka, sir. Their STP water had far lesser bacteria than river itself, sir. That's a ground reality, sir. So compared to STP, our rainwater will even have far lesser bacteria, or may not even have bacteria, sir. I have a couple of gated communities who I told them to validate it by themselves, sir. When it rained, I asked them to collect water from the stormwater drain. I'm sure you have stormwater drains in your community, sir. I asked them, don't believe me or don't believe any other writings. Do it practically by yourself. Okay. So I asked them to collect the rainwater in a fresh water bottle, send it for testing. And about 2 people came up saying that their water was found to be bacteria free, sir. Surface water. Because our gated communities are as clean as modern Western world, sir. Sorry to do the comparison, but they seem, everyone takes their example as in terms of hygiene, sir. They have far cleaner streets, roads than developing countries. So our gated communities in Bangalore and other metros are as good as world-class infrastructure, sir. Which means our rainwater is far better than STP water or Kaveri water, sir. Okay. And finally, what I would like to say is, sir, the problem we are facing is shortage of water, not the technology, sir. We have affordable technologies to make water safe. If there is no water, then all these technologies of no use, sir. So first we need to become water abundant, then think of treating it, disinfecting it for consumption, sir. So if you don't do water conservation itself and still only depend on depleting sources, then these technologies will also go obsolete. Okay. So coming to case study, sir. In last 16 years, some 10 plus gated communities have been featured in different newspaper articles, sir, online, print media and all things. And some of you might have read about Chaitanya Samarpan gated community in Whitefield. They became 80% water self-sufficient. They are buying some water to maintain good relationship with the local water suppliers and the panchayat people there, sir. And then this is one of the most prominently featured in the newspaper articles, the Greens apartment, Dodnekundi. Okay. And then we have SV Symphony apartment on Sarjapur Road. And that's me, that pointed arrow is pointing towards me. And these 4 gated communities are featured in the, about 6-7 months back, Times of India had featured. Sitaram Srishti in Yelahanka, Green Light in 𝗵𝗿𝗃𝗵𝗃, Mitra Maigate in Hormao, Cascading Meadows layout in 𝗕𝗔𝗙, sir. So, except Cascading Meadows, the first 3 apartments, they had literally dry borewells. They became water self-sufficient. Their borewells started yielding water and they stopped buying tankers. And that is what was covered in this newspaper article, sir. So today's main topic is Prestige Garden Bay, an apartment complex in Yelahanka, behind the CRPF on 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗵𝗵 Road. So it has about 8 towers, 2 podiums, and all put together 6 acres catchment area. Okay, they were buying 10 to 12 tankers on a daily basis, which means 100% tanker dependent. Okay, and there are other problems included. Like how Navneet told, lack of storage. They had just 1 lakh liter storage tank, to which all 8 towers and 2 podium water was getting connected. So because of medium to heavy rainfall, everything was getting pumped out, because otherwise it would flood their basement. Then they had a high recurring expense, because limited storage capacity, they had to throw out water out. Their throwing exercise costed them 25 to 30,000 rupees per month, because high power consumption, so 10 HP, multiple pumps running. Otherwise their basement would flood the water. And they had a dilemma in selection of rainwater filter, like how Navneet told. Not all rainwater filters are applicable to all infrastructures. Every apartment requires its own rainwater filter. Okay, and their positioning is very important, sir. They were in the basement, and all the pipes are in the basement, whereas sump was on the ground. So they could not find a suitable filter that could transit water to the sump. So that was one of the reasons that was stopping them from taking rainwater harvesting project. So I gave them the information in all the consultation, and through the builder I was appointed as a consultant for them, for the gated community, the residents. So builder had already provided 29 recharge wells, which of 4 feet, 12 feet, 4 feet diameter, 12 feet depth. And there was a 1 lakh liter sump. Okay. And each tower roof area is about 1,000 square meter. And despite of having a rainwater tank, they were not able to use the rainwater because rainwater was mixed with planter boxes, couple of balcony pipes, and the podiums. Podiums are nothing but green belt areas. So that water was also going to the basement. From basement through the pipes, it was entering in the rainwater tank. So literally it was brownish colored water. They did not know what to do. So they were just collecting, throwing it out. Okay. Mixed up, sir. Yes. Okay. So this was the case. Earlier, all the water was. These are the towers. These are the two podiums, roughly 1,000 square meter. This is 1,000 square meter. Tower 1 to 8. All the white colored boxes that you see are the towers. They were all connected to the 1 lakh liter rainwater storage tank there. And from there it was pumped out. So it was not a, in theory they say, yes, there is a rainwater harvesting project. Practically there was non-existent. So then we came up with our intervention, sir. Since taking all rainwater to one place was challenged, because this is very far from that sump. And this is also very far from the sump. So what we decided is, we made a cluster of 2 or 3 towers. So tower 4, tower 5. This rainwater, we built a new storage tank, like how my previous panelist told me, there is a need for bigger storage tanks to store most of rainwater. We built a 85,000 liters of rainwater tank at the back end. So this tower 5 and the 4, half of it was connected to that sump. And then the tower 8, tower 2 and tower 1, that is the entrance side. We stored it in a massive 1,000 liters or 1 lakh liter sump in the football ground. And then we retained the existing 1 lakh liter sump and connected half of this tower 4, tower 7 and tower 3 rainwater to the 1 lakh liter sump. So this took care of the sump. But this still, there will be a overflow, because these days rains happens in a sporadic manner. Less time, more rainfall. That time my storage tank will spill over. I am more interested in that spillover, because spillover generates big amount of water. So that water, what we did is, we took surplus water from this 1 lakh liter sump, we connected to the nearby borewell there. So it's a recharging there. Any excess, you go here, it does the groundwater recharging. So this one came back to life. The backyard, this one. So any excess from 85,000 liter sump was used to recharge that blue colored box borewell there. And clubhouse, there is a clubhouse there, where white box you see. That I connected to recharge the clubhouse borewell. Plus, now minimal pumping, sir. Earlier everything was getting pumped. Now some water, because of the height difference, they could not take it through gravity. I pumped that water to that borewell. So now, in theory, you can say this is a zero runoff community, sir. Practically it is not. Still they are pumping some water, because they had to pump this, because this is at a low level area compared to the outside world. So they had to pump it out. So because of this intervention, so pumping cost saved by 80,000. So their monthly pumping cost was saved by 20,000. Weak borewells, they were actually not drawing much water, but still they were drawing. So that weak borewell started yielding water, and the active borewell yield doubled, and it started yielding non-stop water. So that one borewell made them water self-sufficient. And their daily tankers reduced from 12 per day to 2 to 3. And these 2 to 3, they are buying to maintain relationship with the vendor there, sir. Because he may say no to them, and they may need in reality, sir. Yes. And borewell water quality started improving, sir, because of dilution, like how my previous panelist told. Rainwater is very soft. He asked you a question, is it good water? Yes, it is a good water, because it is soft water. There may be bacteria, that is a different topic, sir. Once we send rainwater, it dilutes the hardness, sir, and TDS. So water quality becomes better. If water quality becomes better, it will directly impact your performance of the WTP. WTP rejects less water. your individual RO, UV kitchen, they also reject less water, which means overall your roof tank becomes less frequently empty. If that becomes less frequently empty, your pumping cost is saved. So everything is interrelated there, sir. And flooding issues also mitigates. Earlier all basement used to get flooded. Now it is reduced. So they are easily managing the flooding water, sir. These are a few of the project photos. These are the big tanks that we constructed at that time. And some of the challenges we faced during rainy season projects, the plumbing. And this is the Borewell recharging photo, finishing. Yes. And, some thoughts, I don't know how you will receive it, sir, just for you to read it for yourself, sir. So rainy season, we always face this problem, sir, delays. Yes, yes, sir, yes, yes. Builder, they try their best to give as much information, as much infrastructure as possible, sir. But some missing link causes the whole project to be jeopardized. For example, they give the big rainwater tank, but because of filtration, they may end up not tapped full potential. They may give the big tank filtration, but somewhere with the rainwater pipe, they mix balcony pipes. So that again becomes a new job. So these kind of things are obstructing each and every apartment community, sir. Not every apartment is 100% rainwater harvesting friendly. That's the reason many consultants, they start giving the consultation, sir. Sir. I'll hand over the...
Thank you. So this kind of a problem is there in a lot of apartments.
Yes, sir.
So while I see there is a regulation to say, okay, the apartment of certain size and all should implement RWH, how it is implemented, isn't that basically policed? Because what we land up is we create a problem or the builder leaves us with a problem and then we are left to solve it. And in many cases, like in this case, the rainwater part, if they are already going into basement, RWH becomes a challenge. Where to put the filter, do we have the gradients and all those problems. So why are these not getting, or is there regulatory thing to also police what quality of infrastructure is built?
Okay. Yeah, sir. When I came to this field, sir, in the year 2010, so we had buildings that were very old compared to what we have now, sir. And they were designed it to cater to that kind of era infrastructure requirements and those things, sir. So when we started doing rainwater harvesting, the builders, which means what I learned from my former employer and Dr. 𝗕𝗏 sir, architect Visvesvaraya sir, they started pioneering rainwater harvesting in Bangalore, sir. Okay, when they started modifying the infrastructure delivered to the end users like you, they learned that yes, we had to isolate the rainwater pipe from the balcony pipes. We should not connect planter box pipes. So that way, builders are evolving. They are giving their best with the next project, sir. Like you can take the example of Sobha. In one of the earliest Sobha projects in the year 2009-10, sir, we did work in 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃, very long back, sir. I was newcomer that time. So we had a very small storage tank. Plumbing was good. So okay, we did the rainwater harvesting by constructing multiple recharge pits and some additional storage tanks, sir. So then we got a small work from the builder himself, sir, for one of their projects. We did that work. And now if you go to any of the new Sobha buildings, you will see massive 5 lakh litre sump, 8 lakh litre sump, 10 lakh litre sump, which means theoretically everything ends up in their sump, which is then passed through WTP and provided to the gated communities for all kinds of consumption, sir. Which means they are trying their best to become better compared to the previous projects, sir. The same thing is happening. Earlier those days, when you used to say 2040 house, except in Jayanagar, Malleshwaram areas, if you take city outskirts, all the houses where 30-40 means 30-40 used to be a big box, hardly any setback areas, sir, and hardly any recharge pit area. Now they are they are creating space for recharge wells and additional storage tanks, sir. With now guidelines coming strictly coming into enforce that for each square feet there should be a 6 liter storage tank. They are building big storage tank by default itself, sir. And it has the notice has already reached almost all engineers and architects and contractors, sir. So things are improvising.
Sorry. Sure.
See, this issue that you're speaking about, the infrastructure provided not matching with the infrastructure required at the community is something that you just pointed out. The builders building something and ticking off one checkbox, and we are left to grapple with and this is a universal subject, not just on water, on multiple other subjects, whether it is maintenance funds also, whether it is, the quality of construction many times, handover of documentation. So this is a large issue. Until the time we are focused only on myself in terms of my 1,200 square feet of apartment, so that my family can live comfortably, and not abstracting ourselves that we are part of that, 100, 200 member community and volunteering ourselves, our time, etc. This issue is going to continue with builders. This issue will continue with the government. This issue will just continue. So we as BWF are trying to do as much as possible in intervening with some of these. So for example, this afternoon, one of the builders is coming to present a solution, what they are doing about a particular solution around treated water. But we have to come together. There is no magic wand which will say that tomorrow onwards all the builders are going to be, Harishchandras and will comply to every expectation, aspiration of residents and residential community. Until then, we have to, keep pushing the envelope and fighting for it. That's the broad point of it.
Just one question.
Carrying forward, let us see the building is already over. Builder is not catered for anything. Rainwater something.
Yeah.
I've got total basement. I've got the total basement. Basement is interconnected between all the blocks. Where do I now create a structure? My problem is that.
So the baby is born now.
The baby is born.
Ours. We have to take care.
Yes.
We have to find innovative solutions with solution providers like them.
Okay.
And the government is not coming to our rescue. The builder may or may not come to our rescue. We have to worry about it. And let's collaborate between the apartment community and BWF collectively, identify solutions and solve it, sir. And that is on the immediate basis. And see root cause analysis, how we can prevent. Is RERA such an institution which is supposed to, take care of our interests, taking care of our interests or not, and go back and tell them that, what the hell you gave a compliance certificate to these? How did you give occupancy certificates to these complaints? This is an endless conversation, but I'm thinking I'm touching upon the answer. There is no magic answer.
No, we are looking at solutions.
That's where he is here.
That's
where he is here, sir. That's where here. Today is all for existing apartment complexes. It is not for new apartment complexes.
Yes.
For new apartment complexes, anyway, we are talking to 𝗕𝗏𝗏 and saying, please build A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It is not an obligation, but, please be, cognizant to our requirements, sir.
So,
Okay. Can you pause this point for a little later time, because some of these have to come up and we will come up also, sir.
So typically,
sir, can we keep the questions to after the next session, please?
Two tanker suppliers and the groundwater. All of them were contaminated, coliform, at various levels. So none of them, whatever we say, we are not going to escape from that reality. The quality of water is going to be as bad as what it is. So what we have done is, we have built a strong defense in the form of a very functional and monitored WTP. Plus, we have also provided an RO for the kitchen usage purposes. So, from our experience, there is no going back. There is nothing which is, nobody is going to give you very clean water.
Yes.
Whether it's rain, even our rainwater, some had contamination. because of the bird droppings, animal, etc. So that's something which for apartment complexes we'll have to build that defenses and use the available water.
Okay, I will request Navneet and Praveen to stay on for a little more time so that we can have a collective Q&A. In the meanwhile, let's anything else?
I'm done, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Praveen.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Yes.
If he gives us consent, we will share the slide further. Yeah. Sorry, did I put you on a spot? I don't know.
I don't know whether Praveen remembers me or not. He remembers me. It was his first project, one of the first projects which he did in our apartment way back in 2011. 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 apartments in Jaipur. It was done by 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗃. It was done by 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗃, the company name was Water Literacy Foundation. It's called as Water Doctor. So it was done in 2011. That before that we used to pick up about 3 or 4 tankers a day. After 2011, I don't remember any instance of picking a water tanker. I don't remember because I've been 4 times secretary there, except for just filling our swimming pool. That's all we have picked up. Otherwise, these guys did a fantastic job. Praveen was very aggressive at that time. Young blood. So yeah. So now, so good to see him in a different position. But he used to work very, very close with 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗵, Nivedita, right? Sujata. 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃's daughter. She's taking care of the. He's still fit, right? Yeah. Oh, he's passed away. Okay. Because 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃 was one. He was famously called. He regenerated a land parcel in Anantapur which was completely dry. He actually created a farm out there. So that was he famous for. Okay, great. Thanks.